Two Dudes Talk Movies podcast. I'm Luke.
I'm Griffin.
And we are back again with what I anticipate is going to be a very positive Two Dudes review, because that never happens.
Yeah, no, rarely ever.
Yeah, so we are talking about the 2026 movie, Project Hail Mary.
Yippee!
Nice touch.
Thank you.
This came out over spring break, and I planned to watch it anyways. And it was one of those things where I wasn't anticipating it as my most anticipated movie for the year whenever we talked about it last on I believe our first episode for this semester.
Yeah, it was the Film Awards, yeah.
Yeah, we were doing those film awards. But I am very, very impressed and quite shocked that it was as good as it was.
Honestly, yeah, me too. I don't think I had this picked as like my most anticipated movie. I think that either went to like Scream 7 or like The Odyssey. Scream 7's a different story. But yeah, no, if I had known the scale of Project Hail Mary, then I definitely probably would have picked this.
The thing that's surprising is that I do remember the movie that I picked for most anticipated was The Odyssey. And dare I say it, The Odyssey has a very high bar to clear.
Oh, yeah.
And it might not be doable.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I know it's Christopher Nolan doing it, but like at the same time too, Project Hail Mary is just like on a different level altogether.
But what is Project Hail Mary? Project Hail Mary is a movie starring Ryan Gosling in the lead role of Grace and James Ortiz as the voice for Rocky, who is an alien that he meets on his way to save Earth from dying, basically, because all of the stars in the universe are getting infected with this disease. But one of the stars, I think it's Alpha Centauri or Tau Ceti, one of the two, is the only one that's not being affected, and it's very far away.
Yeah, it's like 11 light years.
Yeah, I want to say around there. So,
which is a lot.
Yeah. So in a last-ditch effort, hence the name, Grace is sent out to go solve it and runs into Rocky on the way.
Yep. Yeah, so basically, as you said, like astrophagy are eating the sunlight, which is causing the Earth to like cool down a lot. This movie is based off of a book also called Project Hail Mary.
Shout out Andy Weir.
Shout out Andy Weir.
Also did The Martian.
Also did The Martian, yes, which I actually also rewatched over spring break, and it was just as amazing as I remembered it to be.
Is that a good or bad thing?
Oh, it's really good. No, okay.
I remember some people said that it was just so boring. I do remember that.
It can get a little bit nuanced with the science, but like at the same time too, it's a good watch. And Project Hail Mary also kind of does that too with the science. Like, it does use like a lot of scientific terms, even if it's, just made up for the story. But like at the same time too, it's like it's able to build like its own kind of scientific methods. I'm not a sciencey person, so I'm gonna butcher everything.
Like a scientific reality.
Scientific reality that is believable in terminology.
We'll go with terminology.
That's also like easy to understand and like, yeah.
And maybe the best part, there's not a lot of exposition. Thank God. I hate exposition. In technical terms and movies and stuff, it's very hard to avoid exposition because you have to explain it. But the times that the film does have to outright be like, this is what we're doing, it's kind of in that sense where it's being revealed to Grace at the same time as it is for the audience. So it's not like boring you, right?
Yeah.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, because like the way the film is structured, it starts out with Grace waking up from a coma, and it's like he's out in the middle of space, doesn't remember a thing. So he slowly kind of regains his memories back through like flashbacks, which are also shown throughout the movie. And that's kind of where the exposition happens, where it's like, oh, this is the situation, Earth's dying. We need you to do like research on these astrophagy that are basically astrophage, whatever.
Sorry.
Actually, and yeah, so these astrophage are eating the sun, and that's like kind of revealed through the flashbacks. And yeah, it's not like a huge exposition dump. It explains what it needs to for the story to make sense.
I think also with the flashbacks, it's a lot of show don't tell, and yeah, they have to tell you. Obviously, it's science, but the showing through the flashbacks also has a way to connect what's happening in real time as Grace remembers certain things to then help him for later on different
Yes.
things. So I think that's a nice touch. I like whenever media has that way where they dance around the exposition by showing you it in a flashback to then relate to what's currently happening. It just makes the experience feel more rewarding.
Exactly, yeah. And like the flashbacks, like they don't ever really get boring either too. It's just like because one of the main flashbacks is like Grace trying to like clone or breed the astrophage, and he does this by like going to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and he buys a bunch of like hardware supplies to kind of like recreate the solar system, and like uses like different UV lights, and it's a lot of like running around kind of like figuring stuff out too. It's like the flashbacks, they're never boring, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Also, we got to talk about the talent behind this. Just ignoring Ryan Gosling for a minute, which is hard to do because I love him as an actor. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are the ones behind this, and my God, they are on a generational run. They have not missed once. Starting with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs as their first outing. Not a miss at all. Later on, they
also have the Lego movie.
Yes, both Lego movies. The sequel to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I think, is them, but I'm not certain. Both Spider-Verse movies, my God.
They wrote those? They didn't direct those. They wrote those, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think. So anything that they've been involved with, I have not disliked. So generational.
Except maybe the second Lego movie, but I don't love that one.
Okay,
as much
I
as the
can
first, but
I can see that. I will agree there, but they also have 21 Jump Street under their belt, so
I've not seen that, but
that's all right. But
happens.
Yeah, I'm very thrilled that they are the ones behind it because I know that they're committed to the source material and whatever it is they're doing.
Right.
And adapting this from a book, granted, I have not read it, but I've watched the interviews of them talking about it and others who have read it.
I have read the book.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, sure. It's like the book was written in 2021. I think I read it in like 2022 or something like.
Wait, hold up. That was 2021?
Yeah, the book came out in 2021.
Oh man, I thought the book would have been older.
No.
Impressive.
This like came out pretty recently. And then I read it like a year after it came out, probably shortly after I read The Martian. So the ye olden days of high school.
Ye olden days is crazy.
Right. But yeah, the book also kind of follows a similar format where it's like he wakes up and he's like, where am I? And then a lot of things get like revealed through the exposition. And from what I do remember and from what I've heard, the movie is an extremely faithful adaptation of the book, which I also appreciate. I love it when things stick to their source material. But also like some things aren't really included from the book in the movie too. Like, one thing, this is not me like hating on the movie for anything, but one thing that I don't think the movie shows as much as the book is like how dire the situation on Earth does actually get. Cause like, the way with the astrophage are eating the sun, that's going to cause the Earth to cool down. And if the Earth cools down, all life's going to die. The crops are going to die. People are going to starve. In the book, they have, I kid you not, they nuke Antarctica to heat up the planet.
They do that?
They do that, yeah.
That's wild.
They don't show that in the movie.
No, not at all.
No.
But
And
go ahead.
yeah, sure. And just like another thing too, in the movie, it's shown between not Ryan Gosling, between Grace and what's her name?
Sandra Holler. I can't pronounce her last name right, but as it's what, Evan Strat or Eva Strat?
Eva Strat, yes.
Yeah.
Like their relationship in the movie, I feel like kind of has like romantic undertones a little bit, and that's just like really not present in the book at all.
Wait, you're saying that the film has that, but the book doesn't?
Yes.
Okay, I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
But otherwise, like pretty much with everything else, they get like the science translated very well. They get like the space scenes very well. They get the flashbacks really well done. So I'd say in terms of adapting it from the book to the movie, they did insanely well done.
Yeah. Well,
although I would have loved if they showed them nuking Antarctica.
Yeah. Overall, I can't comment on the comparison between the two just because I haven't read the book. However, I did look at interviews for people that had, and they said the same thing that you brought up, where certain sequences back on Earth are not as present or involved.
Right.
And to be honest, I think I'm okay with that. The film does enough as it is with the runtime that we have at 2 hours, 36 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the amount that they showed of Earth. I don't think we needed that extra context.
Right.
I think part of it is just, it's also nice because, you know, it's a very Grace and Rocky centric movie, but you start with Grace, so he's the main character, but it's through Grace's experiences. He knows that the situation is dire, and you get those scenes in the classroom where the kids are like, well, my parents said this, my parents said that,
Right.
because they're hearing different things of the adults in their life talking about it. But if Grace is out in a city or in the middle of town teaching and then goes with the government, he wouldn't be present for a farmer watching his crops die or Antarctica getting nuked.
Right.
So I think it's okay to not show that because it's streamlining it to be more from his perspective on things, and I think I'm okay with that.
Another thing too, this I just kind of randomly remember this from the book. The reason he goes out and like does all the research is like in the movie it's shown like the class he's in his class with the middle schoolers, and then like he gets confronted by, I guess you could say, the government. And then like the main reason he does go out is like he's in the book. The main reason he goes with them is like he goes back to his class and realizes like he wants to kind of like do this for his students so they can have a future too. And I feel like that is kind of shown in the movie a little bit, but like not as much to a degree.
Yeah, because the film, not if I recall correctly, I saw it like 4 days ago, but it's because they give him the chance to like prove everybody wrong with his thesis, right?
Right.
Well, we should probably explain that. His thesis basically said that water is not essential for life to form, and it just kind of everybody off in the scientific community because it's meant to be wrong. Rocky later proves him right.
Right.
So there's a nice callback there, although they don't really expand on the Rocky not needing water thing much.
Not really, no. It's just like...
Granted, they don't need to. I don't think they needed to.
No.
Other things. Acting. My God.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Ryan Gosling, love him or hate him, you got to appreciate the range on this man. The way that he can balance comedy versus the very serious moments is impressive. The way he looks in Blade Runner 2049 compared to The Notebook, compared to this, compared to any time he shows up on SNL, everything looks so distinctly different and just goes to show how he's able to balance everything. And I think this movie in particular does a really nice job of leaning more into that comedy side, but whenever it needs to get serious and really depressing, nails it.
Yeah, he can absolutely nail a serious side. He can absolutely nail a comedic side, and it's just like the movie Project Hail Mary just shows both those sides really well.
Yeah. Eva's character, I think, in terms of acting, is just kind of there. Then again, that's what her character is. It's just very strictly, I'm stepping on business, need to save the planet. So
right.
It doesn't need to be much more. But there are...
Come with me.
Yeah. But it's like you said earlier, there are some of those romantic undertones, so there's a little bit of room to interpret what you want out of it, I guess. And then with Rocky, you know, James Ortiz being the voice is a lot of vocal work being expressed.
Right.
And that on its own is good. But part of what makes voice acting hard is that the expressions and the physical movements have to be good to match the voice so it doesn't come off as stale.
Right.
And I think Ortiz does a good job with that. But it also helps that Rocky is a practical thing. It is it's a literal rock. Yeah, not even a puppet because they have multiple people to operate it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's similar to that, right? Where kind of like how Grogu is also technically, I guess, a puppet, but they have like the little sticks that they'll hold and move around. I would assume Rocky's similar to that. I don't recall off the behind the scenes that I saw, but I think it's similar to that. And it's just a literal rock person, and it's so cute, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I was joking with Griffin. There's a plushie version of it coming out in
it's like $40.
Yeah, it's $40. I'm tempted to drop the money on it.
I would, but like, I need $40 here. Come on now.
It's Rocky.
It's Rocky. Yeah, true. And for you Rocky fans, Rocky the movie. In the movie they're talking about like who they have, like who their special one is. and Grace asks Rocky like, "Oh, who's your special person?" And Rocky goes, "My special person is click, 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 click," and it's just like it's his
it's
language.
an alien language, so it's not interpretable.
And so Grace gives Rocky's partner the name Adrian, which is also an Easter egg to the Rocky movies, which I found just amazing. Rocky's absolute cinema.
It's very nice, and the way that Ryan Gosling has more chemistry with a literal rock compared to anything in The Notebook, and I will stand by that opinion. Some people are going to hate me for it, but I will stand by that. Is impressive, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen The Notebook, but his chemistry with Rocky is just top tier level. Like, please, I want to watch this movie again and again.
Do you know how hard it is to make me not only cry at a movie, but cry over a rock at a movie? My God, there are many instances where I genuinely have my heart ripped out of me and like feel like I'm about to break down, and I don't. But it gets to a point where it's like, dude, this hurts, and it's so good. I love it. And I want to double back just slightly, but to the way that Rocky's a practical thing, the sets are also primarily practical. So the interior of the ships are huge, scaled, I believe 1-to-1 scaled interiors of what a ship would look like for that.
Yeah.
And then they had the sets be able to rotate in different things. So that way it looks more realistic as he's going through different zero gravity and then when it's normal gravity, that sort of thing. I love practical.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Honestly, I've heard this movie doesn't use like a single green screen or blue screen. Like,
I did hear that too, and I'm curious how they'd make that work with certain scenes.
Right, because I mean, yeah, sure, they used like a crap ton of CGI, but like at the same time too, it looks really, really good.
Yeah, and then again, I mean, if Christopher Nolan can recreate what an atom bomb explosion looks like without any CGI or green screen, I'm sure they can make something like this.
Right, yeah, they can make a gas giant, sure.
Yeah. Speaking of Oppenheimer, this is the first time I've had a movie theater experience where everybody was collectively locked in, arguably more so than they were locked in for Oppenheimer.
Let's see. I saw this Thursday night with a friend. There was a few loud people in front of us. It was just
I'm so sorry.
So I was like, shut up. But at the same time.
So you should do what I do and throw popcorn at them. Kidding. I can't.
I mean, maybe I should. But no. They weren't like extremely disturbing, but
yeah, I made a rare trip to not just the AMC in Champaign, but I went to the Big D theater format that they have in there, where the seats are nicer, it's much larger, audio's greater, the screen's wider, clearer. I can't imagine not watching it in one of those higher tier formats. Like, I understand you get the same experience because I had that with Oppenheimer and had it on one of those lesser experienced theaters, just like your standard one, I guess.
Yeah.
But man, having the enhancement for everything really ties it together. And then I saw clips of different scenes and like what it looks like frame by frame
in IMAX
70 millimeter. Jesus Christ, it looks so good. And I fear that I'm missing out.
Yeah. Like, I also saw this at my hometown theater. Shout out Classic Cinemas. I can't time those buttons right.
Yeah, I got you. There you
Thank you. So yeah, I didn't see an IMAX, but like at the same time too, just having a nicer theater than Mattoon was.
I will
nice
not disagree with you.
Yeah, because the theater I saw in the seats are recliners and they're like heated, so they're really nice.
Oh, they're heated too? You guys got it made.
Yeah, and it's the same ticket price as Mattoon. Actually, well, a couple dollars more, but Chicago area after all. But seeing it just in the theater was just like a lot of the scenes look really, really nice.
Yeah, and it goes to show how good the cinematography is and everything. It's framed so well, and I love the scene where Rocky and Grace first meet in the ships.
Yeah.
And Grace is like, nah, I ain't having any of this. This alien wants to hurt me or whatever. So he's running in his ship. And there's a scene where his ship, I don't know if I can frame this right, but okay, you can kind of tell. They're like directly across from each other here. The framing looks odd, but basically Grace would like move his ship away, and then Rocky would just like match the speed
He would
to
just
line
move
up
his ship
like
just
the
ever
whole
so
time.
slightly.
It was so funny. But I love the way that's framed. I think even in the limited spaces we have, the cinematography really goes off a lot, especially in the earlier moments where as the flashbacks roll in and it's still a little disorienting for Grace, the cameras end up on a tilted thing when it cuts to the flashback before straightening out, and then cuts back and it's straightened out, or it goes the other way around where something in the ship is angled first and then the flashback comes back straight or something like that. So having those angles is also much appreciated.
Yeah, like it with the cinematography, like the flashbacks don't have like insane cinematography, like they don't need to. That it works for what it is, but like once you get into space, like you get all kinds of like crazy angles, and it's just like even like on the outside of the ship too, and like even works with like as you said like too with the comedy, like Rocky just chasing Grace's ship back and forth. I think I laughed more than I needed to at that scene because it was just like. Get away from me.
I felt weird in the theater because there were certain scenes that I was laughing at because it was funny, but everybody else was just completely silent. So I don't know if my sense of humor is just cooked or if they were not having it. I don't know.
Give me an example.
Okay. The scene that I was just talking about with the ship movement, completely laughed out loud, and I was the only one that laughed.
Bruh.
I just thought it was a nice touch, and I was like, dude, that's sweet.
You just might need a new audience. I don't think they appreciated that humor at all.
Perhaps not. But I think the scene that they all really appreciated and that everybody keeps talking about is, aside from the time go fishing, which I'll circle back around to, it's shortly before that where the score titled A Moment plays. I believe it's A Moment. Yeah, it is. By Daniel Pemberton, too. My God. Shout out. Love that guy and his score. But the sequence is basically Gosling out on a spacewalk collecting the life that's emanating from the star that's keeping the virus away and eating it as food. And so he's collecting all of it. And whenever he has to capture it, he's looking at the star, black space, and then the planet. It's like this green, gassy looking thing. And then the light flickers basically and just clicks. And everything goes black, but all these red particles are like floating past you. And I genuinely almost shed a tear at it. I was floored. And I think it was partially because of the theater format I was in, that the audio hits harder and the visuals are much clearer. But the score as well, man, just... And then, it's framed well where you're kind of stuck in that spot. And I want to say it's a dolly zoom. I can't prove if it is or isn't, but the camera at least moves backwards slightly as like it flickers and clicks, and then you just see one of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen that people on Twitter collectively keep saying that it looks like if you stared into God. And not religious, but it looks like you're staring into God, man. I mean, it's pretty.
God's up for interpretation, but hey, that scene looked insanely good. Like,
yeah.
I too was like when that scene came on, like I knew I was looking at a bunch of astrophage. But at the same time too, it's like just the way the scene was lit and it was all red, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then I think that that scene is probably my favorite in the entire movie. Second would have to be the time go fishing. The reason I'm saying it time go, not go time, is because Rocky says it backwards.
Time go fishing.
Yeah, he messes up a couple phrases every now and then. So he originally in the scene with the collection says it's time go, and Ryan's like, I think you mean go time, buddy. And then he's just like, words of encouragement, and he's like, you can't just say words of encouragement.
Words of encouragement.
Yeah. So there's some lighthearted humor, and then that scene hits hard, and then you get to the time go fishing, and it reminds me of a weird mix between the scene in Interstellar with No Time for Caution and the scene somewhat inspired by that in Fantastic Four, where they're using the black hole to warp back out. And I can't explain how it reminds me of that, I want to say it's partially in the score having that same like click beat almost.
There's a metronome.
Yeah, something like that. And just the way that the visuals are somewhat parallel, where you've got like those ships moving down or up at the same time, but then like that dramatic increasing score until it gets resolved or doesn't in some cases. So that floors me. But did you have any like scenes that stuck out?
Any particular scenes besides like the red scene? I'm just gonna call it the red scene. Like nothing like shot specific, but like at the same time too, just kind of like something more concept wise. Like, I do like kind of similar to Interstellar. There's no like giant looming antagonist that they have to like fight back against too. Like the astrophage are like, you know, what they're trying to like, I guess, kill just to like, you know, make sure their stars don't die, which is, you know, perfectly reasonable. But at the same time too, it's just like the astrophage are just like another life form in the universe. They're not like evil because they're just trying to get food by, you know, eating stars. And it's just like, and Rocky and Grace are like two different species, and they have to come together and like collaborate. Like, hey, how do we get these little pesky guys to not eat our sons?
Yeah, fair enough. I do agree. I also like that it's not just this classic good guy versus bad guy.
Right. Not like a
go deal with it. You know,
Star Wars thing. Not that Star Wars is bad, but you know, it's like
Well, they did make the sequels.
Yeah, depending which Star Wars you consider canon. How about I'll leave it at that.
All right, fair enough. However, I got out of the movie and I really thought this was going to be a 5, but I had to sit on it for just a little bit, thought about it, and I can't do it. I was very, very close because it hit the emotional. Sorry, Griffin. It hit the emotional notes. It does everything it needs to do. There's just one little caveat that irks me.
All right, let's hear it.
It's possible that this is the same in the novel, and then that's still a problem regardless. But I think some stuff was missing. Not in terms of just the adaptation, but should go without saying spoilers because we've already spoiled a couple things, but just reminders.
The entire movie.
Yeah. But eventually there's a scene shortly thereafter, the time go fishing, where due to the way that the gravity fails and messes up, Grace gets slammed across the front of the computer screens and is unconscious, bleeding out and dying.
Yeah.
And Rocky is, what is it? Is it Xenon? I want to say it's Xenon, but he can't breathe oxygen basically. So Rocky can't breathe the atmosphere. Humans breathe and vice versa. So Rocky has this little Xenon-made orb that he sits in zones.
It's like a hamster ball.
Yeah, in zones that he's able to survive in. And it's made very clear that he will die if he goes out of that. Right. And then goes out of it to save Grace. Grace, I almost thought for a second was just dead and the movie was going to end and that was it. They just failed, right? Like I was
right.
They made it very, very concerning, which is good on their part. But Rocky breaks out of his little orb hamster thingy, saves Grace, and then crawls away as like he's turning into mist basically and just kind of almost disintegrating, but decomposing more so because he can't survive in that atmosphere. And Grace eventually wakes back up in a similar setup to how he does at the beginning of the movie, and then goes and finds Rocky's corpse locked in the little orb thing again, but the orb's still open, you know.
Right.
And it's just so gut-wrenching. And time goes by for a while, and Rocky's still there. His body's still there. And then randomly later on, he wakes up and is perfectly fine. So how the hell did that happen?
I don't remember enough from the book to know that.
Because the movie does not tell
you. The movie does not explain that, no.
There's a scene of Ryan Gosling being so deep into depression that he kind of forgets that Rocky's dead and won't accept it and is just talking with him normally and then realizes and he's like, holy shit, you're alive, and like hugs him. And that's the only acknowledgement of it. Rocky also doesn't bring up how he's dead. Grace doesn't question it. And originally I was fine with it because the emotional weight behind everything makes it stronger and it's fun.
Right.
But then I like on the drive home was sitting and thinking about it more, and just that instance for sure needed to be explained, I think.
Yeah.
Because they make it so clear ahead of time that he'll die. So for him to show up and them not explain how he gets there with no evidence of how you can interpret it possible if the orb thing is still open, I don't know.
I mean, maybe Grace woke up and just kind of sealed it and depressurized it and hoped that Rocky woke up, but like at the same time they don't explain that, so it's like,
but
how
he
are
couldn't
we
have
left to
he
know?
couldn't have resealed it though, because he doesn't know how to craft the xenon things. And then also, any time that he shows up with Rocky's body, the orb is still open.
Maybe he's plastic wrap. I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know. That bothers with me a little bit. And then similarly, but less so, because it's just not necessary. I don't think it's meant, like I said earlier, with how the flashbacks don't touch on certain things from the book. Well, you said that, but just the flashbacks don't touch on certain things from the book, like what's happening to Earth. Another thing that's not...
We must nuke Antarctica.
Another thing that's not mentioned much is what happens to Grace's personal life and school life once he gets hired by the government. He just kind of disappears and is never brought up again.
Yeah.
That part I'm okay with, because from his perspective, he probably didn't get a chance to do any of that. So
No.
It's fine. It's a lesser complaint. I don't care. And one that's also lesser that I'm okay with, just because narratively it kind of needs to be the way that it is. The end does drag on just a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
I remember seeing at one point somebody said online that the movie felt like there were 11 different points that it could have ended. I only feel like there's 3, maybe an argument for 4, but I do see where they could have drawn the line to stop, and I think after like the first or second time, after the second time, it feels a little choppy where I'm like, okay, is this it? No. Okay, is this it? No. Part of that also might just be because I really had to piss after that movie. I had a large Mountain Dew with me, so like and it was all gone. So I needed to get out of there. But
No, I feel you.
I think just narratively wise, we needed that time to wrap everything up the way that it does if they wanted to stick faithful to the book, which I think they needed to. And the point where I start feeling like it's drag is really only like that last 15-ish, maybe 25-minute mark. So I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's just something else to know.
I will kind of disagree with the ending there. I mean, eventually, spoilers, because, we haven't spoiled enough, but eventually he does, like, find the solution, and it ends up being, like, this other bacteria that can, like, eat the astrophage, and they can, like, disperse it to get rid of it. So they send their findings back to Earth through the 4 Beatles, aptly named John, George, Ringo, and who's the last one? Paul. I don't know how I forgot Paul McCartney, but sorry to any Paul McCartney fans. But they send the 4 Beatles back to Earth, and it's like, okay, that could have been an ending point for the movie. They send off the probe, or Grace sends off the probes, but then he goes back and, he gets Rocky, and then he lives on the planet with like his species. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, it could be argued there's like few different points where the movie like could have ended or whatever, but I think the ending was fine, just where it ended.
Yeah, I think I should clarify too. I'm also fine with where it ends. It's just I do agree that it drags on a little bit because it feels choppy, where it makes it clear to you almost like, hey, we've done it, we've won, or hey, we lost, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, okay, naturally it should end, and then it doesn't, and then it goes on, and it's like, okay, this is the real ending. It was a fake out, and then it goes on, and you're like, okay, now what? And then it finally ends, and you're like, thank God, I really got to piss. But yeah, I will agree. I am fine with where it ends. It just is a little choppy, but it's not something I'm going to take any points off for, just because I think narratively it needs to drag on a little bit the way that it does.
Right. And no amount of bathroom trips are going to excuse that.
No, I if it wasn't a movie that I was so engaged with, I would have just got up, went, and then came back. But I was holding that shit, bro. I'm not getting up. I was locked in.
I think I only took like one bathroom break, and that was after I kind of knew what was going to happen because I read the book. So,
Insider knowledge.
Reading helps, even if it's from years ago, but still.
Yeah. I have a deep thought ready, but is there anything that you want to talk about else before we get there?
I might also have a deep thought, but I'll let you ask yours because I don't know if we have the same one.
Okay, mine's kind of basic. But Do you think that the things that are missing, namely with how Rocky's alive, needs explained or shown? Also, I guess you can bring up the point with the things on Earth that aren't shown, that sort of thing. Like things that are missing, should those have been here?
All right, that was not my deep thought question. So, I think some things they could have gotten away with, like they didn't need to show nuking Antarctica, as cool as that would have been. But like, I kind of feel like they could have shown how dire the situation was getting on Earth, maybe a little bit more, but like not largely necessary. With how Rocky came back to life, like, yeah, I can see that argument. Like, bro just kind of respawned, and it was just like, oh, you're alive, and it's just never really expanded on, and it's just like, yeah, okay.
Do you remember if the novel does explain? I feel like you said a second ago, but
I don't remember.
Okay,
but yet I remember Antarctica getting nuked, so that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, some things they could have gotten away with. Some things, like, yeah, they could have explained better.
I think for me, the only one that I really need shown is how Rocky is alive. That one they made it super clear at least twice. I think 3 times actually, but at least twice for sure, that he will die if he breathes the oxygen, right? And he does, and then he's pretty well dead, but then just shows up again. So I don't understand that. But
it just becomes a pile of rocks, and now, oh, he's alive again.
Yeah, that one for sure needed some more addressing outside of what we got. But for the others, at least the like Earth showing the dire situation, I don't think it's necessary that we have it, because whenever we do see Earth for the last time and the ship that Eva is on is going through the ice, I feel like that really shows you how much has changed, because you can see the age on her face compared to how it was prior. So you know the time has passed, but then you're seeing the ship go through this huge chunk of icebergs, right? So maybe that is Antarctica. Maybe Antarctica did show up in the movie.
Maybe it's the Arctic.
Maybe, but Antarctica is funnier.
Right. Yeah.
So, like I think seeing that compared to how Earth was prior gives me enough juxtaposition to really highlight how bad it is, where it's like, hey, there should not be this many ice chunks floating around in the water. So something globally has changed climate-wise.
Right.
I think I can get behind it with that and excuse it for that. But yeah, I think just at least for Rocky, I need it explained. The others, I don't mind. So what's your deep thought?
So now that I think about it, I have 2.
Oh.
We might be here a hot minute. I'll start off with the first. Is this movie better than Interstellar? Yeah.
I've seen many people online and critics alike say that it is. For me, based on my ratings, I think they're kind of equal. I can't choose one over the other because they both have their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, they're both space movies, but they're both very different kind of space movies.
Yeah. Yeah. They have similarities to each other, which is nice, but they are definitely separate. So I don't know. I don't think I can choose one over the other. Okay, here's the other thing. Is because I did this with whenever we did the awards choosing. If the movie had the same rating as something else and I wanted to choose what wins, I went off what I would be more likely to rewatch again. Hail Mary has not had enough time to simmer for me to where I'm like, would I rewatch that over Interstellar or not? So think of it as like a tier list, like you've got that S tier, A tier thing, but it's like the number ratings instead. Once we get to my rating, it's the same rating that I have for Interstellar. So to me, they're on the same level right now. I can't choose one over the other just yet. I would need more time for it to simmer before I chose.
Gotcha. I think, I also have them rated the same, funnily enough. But in terms of choosing one over the other, like, Interstellar doesn't really have that same comedy as, like, Project Hail Mary does. Like, you got, like, Tarzan Case, which is, that they're funny in their own rights, but Rocky just kind of takes the cake for comedy there.
Dirty. Why room so messy?
Dirty. Why room so messy? Cannot get enough of Rocky. But back to the question. Is this movie better than Interstellar? I feel like on some kind of level, Interstellar's a smidge better. Just like they're both really great films. I'm not
there's
here
no
to be
denying
like
that.
there's no denying, no, absolutely no denying that. But like but like as you said too, like I wouldn't rewatch Project Hail Mary right now. It hasn't even been out a week at the time of recording, at least.
Yeah, because we're recording Monday and we both watched it Thursday. You watched it Thursday night.
Thursday
I saw
night,
it that
yeah.
afternoon.
But yeah, Interstellar I haven't watched in like over a year or something. So it's like, yeah, Interstellar has more rewatchability as of right now. So I would put it a little bit higher than Project Hail Mary. But they're both great in their own regards too.
Yeah. What's the second one?
The second question is, I wrote it down. Hold on. Do you think this is the best sci-fi movie of the decade?
Of the decade?
Yes, of just the 2020s.
I fear that I need to research. Give me a second.
Sure. Because I'm trying to think like what else has really come out. Not just like, space movies or anything, but like
Okay, just to clarify, you're saying since 2020?
since 2020, yes. Because I know like, Dune's also come out and like I haven't seen
Good thing I pulled it up. So I'm gonna name a few. We could just go off of that if we recognize anything. I know you're pulling it up too.
Yep.
So off of the search of just sci-fi films since 2020, I'm seeing Tenet, The Martian, Upgrade, Interstellar, Ex Machina,
Begonia, Alien Romulus.
Ad Astra's under there, Annihilation. Ooh, wait, that didn't come out since 2020. Hold on. I guess that's just in the 20s, not the 2000. Whatever.
The
I don't
2020s,
know, man.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna list things off. We'll just go from there.
Tomorrow War.
Mm-hmm.
Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
That one I want to watch still.
Me
I just
too.
haven't gotten around to it. Electric State is on there.
Wait, which one?
Electric State, the one from the Russos that looks like absolutely garbage.
I have not seen that.
I don't plan to see it. So
Okay.
Mickey 17, that's another good one. Is Everything Everywhere All at Once a sci-fi film? That's showing up on this.
I mean, I guess it involves the multiverse a little bit.
Fair enough.
2067. I'm not kidding. That's a real movie.
Yeah, Adam Project. It's What's Inside. That's another banger. Thank you, Gunnar Olsen, for putting me on that. It's What's Inside is peak.
Companion.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've seen enough to. I don't know about giving an answer yet, but off the search results, I know I have a better
Tron
idea.
Ares. Sorry, I'm just going
Yeah,
off now.
I have a better idea of what's come out since. No, okay.
So a big problem is I haven't seen a good chunk of these movies. I've seen Tenet. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either.
Tenet, I'm just stupid. That's the only reason I don't like it is because I'm stupid and I cannot understand what the hell's going on. That's the only reason. But
I get like the concept it's going for, like things are moving forward and backward at the same time, but it's just like I'm too stupid to understand
and
it.
it's funny because I watched like an hour and a half breakdown of like understanding how it works, and I still don't get it.
I applaud you for even doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was the best sci-fi film of the decade.
But yeah, just like the 2020s, not the last 10 years, just the 2020s.
Yeah. So of the 2020s, granted, we haven't had a large amount. I don't think.
No.
Because most of those results are kind of older than 2020. Not by much though. They're like late 20-teens range.
Late 20 teens.
Okay.
Not adding that to my vocabulary.
But yeah, I'm tempted to say yes because it's probably the highest rated one, but I'm for now I will say yes because I cannot think of something that's come out since 2020 that I've rated higher that fits the sci-fi category.
Right. I haven't seen many sci-fi movies that's come out since 2020. I haven't even seen Dune. That's how far behind I am. But I don't know how those movies compare. I know they have like the same cinematographer, so maybe they're good. But just compared to like I have seen like the Tomorrow War, Frankenstein's on here for some reason.
That's definitely not sci-fi.
No.
Well, science fiction, I can see it.
Yeah, Tenet I've seen, but again, it's not the best. So I guess to answer that question, yeah, Project Hail Mary is probably taking the top so far. for Sci-Fi, and probably honestly this for this year at least, probably best adaptation because.
Oh yeah. I don't know of anything else that's well. Okay, hold on. I should restate this. Dune 3 is still coming, so there's possible competition.
The Odyssey,
but yeah, Odyssey's on there too. So there's possible competition, but off of right now, this is probably taking the cake.
This is probably going to get best adaptation at the Oscars or whatever.
Yeah, at least for us.
For us, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that. I'm very impressed that this was not my most anticipated, but it's the strongest of the year thus far.
Right.
And I've not seen really anyone actually complain about it or have any real criticisms. I know I mentioned one, but it's such a small thing that they could have added and it would have been fine, but it doesn't detract from everything else that makes this movie so great.
Yeah. I don't have any complaints about the movie at all, really. I mean, we'll get to that in ratings here in a second, but
well, if you have no complaints, I think I can guess what your rating is, but
probably.
Why don't you enlighten us if we're
sure? Are we getting into ratings now?
I'm ready if you are.
Okay, cool. I mean, on top being like probably the best adaptation of this year, being the best sci-fi movie that 2020's so far. I mean, unless there's some hidden gem that I'm just not aware of at all, probably do. But I mean, with the chemistry between like Grace and Rocky, it's just like they're funny, they're sad, you'll laugh and cry at them, and just like the cinematography. Oh my god, just I have to do.
We've been spamming that button a lot. There's a lot to like about
there's
this.
a lot to like about this movie. So probably with that and just like I'd give it 5 out of 5.
All right. I can understand it.
Yeah.
I almost gave it the 5 whenever I walked out. I like on Letterboxd, whenever you go to like put the stars, you can like slide it over, and that's how you choose the number. I had it all the way to the 5, almost let go, and I was like, I need to think about this more, and moved it back, and then drove home, and then did it later. But the only thing that I have to complain about is just I don't know how Rocky's alive, and that's something that I feel like is a little too crucial to the rest of the movie to not have explained.
Yeah.
So that needed to be there, I think. But acting-wise, chemistry-wise, emotion, cinematography, practical sets, score, every single other thing I love, and I have no complaints. So I'm going to have to go with the 4.5 rating.
All right, cool. 4.5 fair.
Yeah, it's almost there. I think if they added just that one more thing that I didn't fully sit with correctly or enjoy, I guess, once I got back, then it would have easily taken the 5. Or if it was just like a lesser complaint that it didn't vibe with me as much, or it wasn't something that I cared about enough, then it would have, but it was, unfortunately. So yeah, I think 4.5 is going to be where I'm going to stick on
final rating. Okay, cool.
Well, that wraps up this week for the Two Dudes Talk Movies.
Looking at our clock right now, we are at 48 minutes, which is insane for
it's
just a regular episode. Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot to talk about and like about this movie, though.
We are certified yappers for Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. So until then, I'm Luke.
I'm Griffin.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.